Hey guys, it's Casey and welcome back to the channel. So today, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stated today that a second stimulus check is very possible. And the reason this is very important is because they have been the part of the Congress that has been holding up a second stimulus package for the past few months now. And so when you have the Senate Majority Leader, which is pretty much the head of the part of Congress, of the Senate, stating that a stimulus check is possible, then that's very good news towards getting the stimulus check, because the Democrats have already decided that they want one and that they passed one. And so that's very, very positive news. So I want to cover today over exactly some of the things he talked about in his meetings that he had today, so that you guys have a pretty clear understanding as to where we are. So let's just kind of jump into this. So he had 3 conferences today in Kentucky. And today, Senate Majority Leader McConnell shared what he thinks will be included in the next stimulus package. And he also stated what he thinks can be included for the next stimulus check. So he stated that he does believe that there will be a second stimulus check, or at least that they're very likely. He did say another important thing, that he does expect the next stimulus bill to be finalized this month, which is really important because a lot of people were uncertain as to whether or not this, and if we did receive a second package or a second check, whether or not that was going to be approved by in August before they went to recess. Because when they come back on the 17th of this month, they have the 11 days for the rest of the month, and then they have until August 8th or 10th, I believe. So he said, yeah, that they do believe they're going to close something and get it approved by the end of this month, which is phenomenal news. So that's great. He also talked about the stimulus check as a whole, and his words were very well, could well receive a second stimulus check. To me, that basically means that they are going to get one, but what I think is in question right now is the amount and who's going to receive it. So up to this point, there's been a general consensus that everyone is going to get a stimulus check if you qualify under the previous CARES Act amount, which is $75,000 per individual, or $150,000 per married couple. But he hinted at something today that was very interesting, to where he stated that if he had his preference, he would focus more on the people who earned $40,000 or less a year, the people who were hardest hit. And that's kind of important, because a lot of people that make a hell of a lot more money than that could certainly use a stimulus check as well. So I certainly hope that the Democrats don't cave in when it comes to that, and I have no doubt that that's going to be a big contentious point in the negotiations. So yeah, up to this point, he's not a big believer in getting everyone to get a second stimulus. He wants people who make $40,000 or less to get one, but then everything above that is going to kind of be up in the air. So, in addition to that, if you guys are already aware, I'm sure you know this, anyone who made, less than the allocated amount on the first check, they received one, but not this go around. What he also did focus on as well is he wants to focus on putting things in the package that gets people back to work, and also focuses on liability protections for businesses. Now, this is very interesting, because what he's trying to do is get funding in the package that protects businesses in case people go back to work and then they get sick and then they try to sue the company. And so, I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it's kind of a good thing to ensure that we have that in place. But, I think that we need to focus more on the money getting allocated to individuals, so that they can pay their bills and mortgages and rent and car notes and put food on the table. But that's just my take on it. He also talked about the idea of closing the economy again, and he just basically said that they don't expect that to take place. And that's really important, is because typically if the economy is going to close, then that's going to be more of a bipartisan effort, and because he stated he doesn't expect that to take place, that's a good thing. He did also touch on finding a lot of common ground with state and local funding. And the reason this is important is because in the stimulus package, a lot of that may get implemented in there, to where they do allocate more money, or they will allocate more money to state and local levels, so that people can get back to work and have government protections and so forth with funding. So that's really important. And he did also touch on the fact where he said that he doesn't anticipate this being that this being like a second to a third stimulus package. He said that they're almost certain that this is going to be the final stimulus package, and he said so because pretty much the federal debt has been ridiculously high. And so because of this, he's trying to get the second stimulus package down to $1 trillion instead of the $3 trillion that the Democrats passed back in the middle of May. My guess is you give or take a few dollars, you meet in the middle, and this is going to probably come out to around $2 trillion again. If that is the case and they meet in the middle, then there's a high likelihood that everyone is still going to receive a stimulus check, at least for the same amount that was received before. In addition to that, as I already stated to you guys, he wants the lower threshold income people to receive the check if that was just his way. He wants to focus on payroll tax cuts. So his idea is to just give stimulus checks to people who make less than $40,000, and then the rest of the money in the stimulus package to help pass those discounts on to businesses to keep people on their payroll. So the more people that the businesses have on the payroll, the more the companies will receive tax cuts. See, this kind of goes down to the whole trickle-down effect that took place back in the whole Reagan era. It doesn't work. It's never worked. It never will work. I try not to get too political in any of my videos because it's really finance-based. But at the same time, when I hear BS, I have to state this in a video. I'm all for whatever side you're on. It doesn't really matter to me. But stating that you want to help the American people by giving businesses, who obviously help stimulate the economy, but it's also in the back of the workers and citizens. Stating that you want to give businesses and corporations tax breaks and incentives just to keep people employed, that doesn't really sit very well with me, because I know that the majority of the time that money does not trickle down to the employee. And so I definitely hope that the Democrats fight that. I hope that they're able to put some leverage onto the Republicans, that they can get some leverage on that and make sure that those stimulus checks get distributed out to everyone. He also wants the additional funding to be distributed to people for return to work bonuses, and also 4,000 travel credits. So basically what they're trying to do at this point, at least from McConnell's standpoint, is he wants to just pay the low-end people and then do the payroll tax or provide everyone a return to work bonus. So if you take a job, you'll get $1,500 or $500 or $700, whatever it is, just to get you back to work to take the job. And then he's also throwing out a $4,000 travel credit, which is to stimulate people wanting to travel again. So, basically, if you're flying or if you're traveling in cars or whatnot, travel food expenses, well, at the end of the year, you're allowed to deduct those off of what you made, for your income. That's basically something that's right out of the book of being a business owner. So business owners, the majority of the time, they will deduct their expenses. But if you're an individual, you can't do that. But they're looking at giving you that option for a travel credit. They are also looking at putting funding in place for an infrastructure. So my guess is that just pretty much goes into the whole first line workers, to the critical workers, things like that, things that we've already heard. And then they're also discussing adding additional funding for manufacturing jobs. But obviously everyone is really focused on the stimulus check payments. And as of right now, guys, the straight answer is we don't have anything definitive, right? So we're listening to what the Senate Majority Leader and to what the Democrats are saying on a daily basis to see what hints that they can drop. And the only thing that we can say definitively right now at this point is that there's going to be a second stimulus package, and it will happen before the end of the month. That's about all we really know. Will there be a second stimulus check? Yes. At this point, it's just really going to come down to whoever's negotiation skills are the best. If the Democrats have their way, we all will receive one. If the Republicans have their way, only people who make $40,000 or less will receive one. That's not going to fly. I don't think it's going to fly. I think that's in his perfect world. And we're just going to kind of continue to wait, right? So I can't thank you guys enough for watching the video. At this point, like I said, I know everyone is waiting very diligently and patiently to get the latest news. And I know there's a lot of different channels online that are, just kind of overwhelming right now with information. So I do appreciate you guys following the channel. Appreciate you listening to the content if you've gotten this far. If you have gotten this far, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. As I stated in my previous videos, I will be providing you guys with the absolute latest with the stimulus check package and with the stimulus check information as soon as it gets released. I subscribe to a lot of the different financial news channels and to a lot of the different economic channels. And so on this channel, I get access to a lot of the information as soon as it comes out, and I will basically be uploading this so that you guys can get it to you guys can have access to the latest. So if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit the notification bell. And again, thanks so much for tuning in. And I will catch you later as soon as I have more information. Thanks again.